So what would happen is before we even finished campus, we'd walk around with foolscaps, envelopes, and what is it called, staplers. So we'd pass by a building. If you see a company, you sit, you take your paper and pen, you write your application, and then you hand it there. So you don't know anyone, but in our heads, as guys, we knew we were job hunting. So one of these days, I'm in the hall. Then a colleague comes in, and I tell her, okay, by the way, I'm going to this place that I saw. There was a position in the paper, so we are going to head there to place our resumes. And she was like, by the way, it sounds like a nice idea, but sina paper, I haven't done. I was like, don't worry, I have, like we used to work with that. I have this, I'll give you, you write, then we'll go together. Then I remember she told me at that point, okay, even for me, I was actually going to Standard Group to give this, there's this thing that they have asked, this job they've put out there, and I was going to apply. So even you, si uko na mapepa na nini, uko na foolscap, uko na what, yes, even you apply. I'm like, what position is this? Then they tell me, I've never even heard of such a position. But she encouraged me. She's like, where apply to? Sata mini may apply. To apply to, then we can go and post in both places. So that's what we did. Then I remember that time we hadn't graduated yet. That was around, I think October. We were graduating in December. So about 2 weeks later, I get a call. And I never actually got a call from where I was going, but I got a call from where this lady was now taking her papers to. This is standard. This is a position that I have no clue ata ni nini wameitisha nini, because I was not aware. So I'm called and I'm thinking, okay, I need to find out what position this is, what they require, the qualifications and all that. What happens is I'm called. I happened to look at the qualifications, and they had asked for someone with 3 years experience. And of course, I mean, at experience here, one day sina. So for me, I was like, okay, clearly I'm not gonna get this job. So there's no need to panic. There's no need to, let me just prepare myself and walk in like as if I'm going for, how do I put it? It's an exercise for future interviews. Ndo nikiitwa in future. You know, nitakuwa na experience. So I remember walking in, seeing a group of 7 people, and I didn't panic at all. Why? Because I knew, you know, this is just practice. Hakuna kitu. So I didn't panic at all. There was no fear. And I just answered the questions the way I was very honest. They asked me, so have you done this before? And I was like, no. And we had a very easy conversation. Then, and I think what they picked out from that conversation is because I was doing so much then. I was in school. I was at Strathmore doing my accounts. I was part of some organization for student volunteers. And I was also the captain for our handball team in the university. So I think for them, they saw this person might not be having the experience, but if they can be able to do all this, then they are probably teachable. So that's how I got my first job. And from there, I stayed for about 6 months, and then I moved to Citizen. That was, this is 2005. I moved to Citizen in 2006. Then I stayed there until 2015, where I felt the desire to start to get into business. And I remember getting so scared. You know, it's one thing when you're in this company where it's well known, you know, everything is going well. And it's another thing to move into an unknown territory. And I remember the first time I shared with my parents about wanting to resign and get into business, they were so shocked. They're like, as in, who leaves a stable company to go try out things? And I remember telling them, you know what, I feel, my intuition tells me this is the right way. I've gotten to a point in this particular company that I've reached the ceiling. I don't feel like there is space for growth. And I can tell for me, this is where my growth will come from.